All right, welcome. If this is your first time joining us, I am Jason there on the left, and we have David Rockland, the digital strategist, and so much more here at Brilliant Directories. We have a super webinar for you guys. David, thank you for taking the time to join us and setting up the tip of the week for this webinar as well.
Yeah, so glad to be back with everybody for another webinar Wednesday. Really looking forward to this tip of the week. I think it might be one of the most useful ones we've ever done.
If not useful, at least fun to play with. So we'll see how that goes. We are streaming live on YouTube. So to our friends in YouTube land, welcome to the webinar. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please take a moment right now to go to brilliantdirectories.com/YouTube. You'll get a pop-up to subscribe. This will keep you updated when the webinar replays are available, new tips of the week, new tutorial videos, and more. So you can head on over to brilliantdirectories.com/YouTube and click on that subscribe button. Also, one of the benefits of streaming live on YouTube, the replay will be available immediately after, and we will post it in the Brilliant Directories Facebook group. If you're not a member, we invite you to join us there. You can go to brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook and click on that blue join button. It's a very active group. I think we're just close to surpassing 12,000 members. Lots of people asking questions, receiving help, sharing ideas. I'm in there myself. And yeah, we definitely invite everyone to join us there. And we do see a few new names and faces out there. Alan, welcome to the webinar, also Daisy. So just a little bit about Webinar Wednesday. You know, week after week, we're pushing new updates into the Brilliant Directories platform. Some of them are small patch fixes and things like that, but some of them are actually useful features that can help you grow your community a bit quicker. So we'll cover topics such as how to increase traffic, convert visitors to members, identifying revenue opportunities. In this case, we're going to talk about in the tip of the week how to publish and promote content on your site. So if you have questions about your site and any of these topics or anything at all, we should have plenty of time for some Q&A a little towards the end of the webinar. So just hang in there with us and we'll be sure to get to as many questions as we can today. All right, my favorite part of the webinar, we actually have a pretty feature-rich lab update slide here. I'll breeze through this list because we have a really extensive tip of the week. I'd say it's intermediate level. So I'll brush through this and we'll take a question or two about this slide and then we'll head on over to the tip of the week. So related to search, if you're using the Insta-Load search results add-on, this allows members to see more results on a search results page without going to like page 2 or page 3 of the results. Up until now, the user had to click the button to get the additional results, but it would keep them on the same web page, which saves a lot of time. Now there is a true auto and infinite scrolling setting that you can enable. I would recommend it for mobile, especially if you have a lot of content on your site. This will help reduce bounce rates, keep people scrolling in the search results of your page a bit more, and feed them with more content without having to wait for different web pages to reload. So first, let me share the add-on here, and then I'll show you where the setting is. There's a video on here on how it works, just so you have some reference. So let me show you how it currently works. This is just our webinar demo site here. So if we scroll down to the blog articles, we're showing 5 at a time. This is the button here that's always been here with the add-on. So instead of seeing page 1, 2, 3, or 4, we just click this button and we get more results. Now here is the advanced setting that you can enable. We'll go to Settings, Advanced Settings, and I'm going to search for Insta-Load. And here it is. I'll copy this setting name into the chat as well, and I'll show you how it works. So by default, it's going to be load more results only when the button is clicked, because that's how it always worked. Now you can auto load more results when that button is in the view of the user's screen. So the user doesn't actually have to click on the button, just the button has to enter the viewport of the screen. And you can do this on all devices or just on mobile. So you might want to just reserve this for when people are scrolling your site on mobile. I'll go ahead and enable this on all monitors so we can see how it works on my desktop here. Okay, great. Let's go back to this page and refresh it. And I'm gonna scroll down. We're gonna notice the button at the bottom here. I'm not gonna click on it. And after just a second or two, it will automatically load more results. So this really creates that good experience, like on Twitter or other social media platforms. They just keep the user going through the posts that are available on the site. So if you're using this, you might want to just use this on mobile, but it is also very helpful for the user on desktop as well. All right, next up, and this is a shout out to the Facebook community. Your brand colors are now saved and available in the text editor color pickers. Not all the brand colors, but the key colors from your design settings are now available in your color pickers, and I'll show you where they are and where you can expect to see them. And this is useful, so if you're creating landing pages and you want to use similar colors without having to copy and paste those color codes over and over again, this could give you a helping hand. So let's go to the design settings real quick, and the colors that it uses are 9 colors. First, it will utilize the 6 button colors that you've defined here. So those will be available in the color picker. In addition to that, it's going to use the background of your main menu bar as another color. So there's 6 buttons, main menu background would be 7. And then your main website design, it's going to also provide your body background color and your body font color. So effectively there's 9 custom colors that are going to show in the color picker. And we can see these colors here that should actually be available here. If I click here, we can see these 9 colors available here, and they will be available throughout the entire admin area. Now there are two types of color pickers in the admin. There's this one, and there's the one in the text editor. So let's go to the text editor real quick, and we can just edit any page. Perfect. I'll just click on the text color here. So the 9 colors are actually down here. So in the text editor, it comes with a set of default colors, but the last 9 here are those 9 that I just mentioned that correspond to the colors in your design settings. So if you need to grab a color quick that corresponds to your branding, you can do so now in the color pickers. This next one also, thank you to the community. It actually wasn't as easy as it sounds, but we now have WebP image support throughout the entire platform. The hardest part here was for member profile photo uploads because that requires cropping, and WebP images don't exactly behave the same as JPEGs or PNGs. But now member profile images, member logos, and post, your members can utilize and upload WebP images, and it'll maintain the WebP file format after it's uploaded as well. So this effectively gives us full support of WebP images throughout the entire software. And if you're not using WebP, it basically helps you. They're very lightweight images. And actually, I should share, if you have been using JPEGs and PNGs throughout your site, we did do a blog, a tip of the week on how to use ImageKit, which is, I would recommend signing up. I think since we did this, it was a free plan, which was plenty of file size. Let me share this here. We do mention here, I'll share this blog article, and I would recommend, actually I do recommend everyone utilize this on your BD site. It'll just help it load faster. The images are from a CDN, so they will load quicker for users globally, et cetera, et cetera. All right, so WebP image support throughout the platform. This next one is big if you're using smart lists and you're using webhooks. Now you can continuously sync your smart list with webhooks, either hourly, daily, weekly, or monthly. That one's going to require, it's a kind of a higher level for people who are marketers and managing lists and alternate CRMs and things like that. But let me just quickly show you where you would see that. Okay, great. I'll just show you here. So when you have a webhook set up for a smart list, you'll then have these options here. And basically when you have a smart list, you basically have a set of data for a bunch of members or a bunch of leads or a bunch of reviews on your site. And with this, you can send all that data for every single member who's a part of that smart list out to a third-party platform. Maybe you want to send an entire list to MailChimp because you like sending emails through MailChimp. No, before this, it was just a one-time sync. So you'd have to manually come back and then resend all the people who are now part of this list to the webhook. Now you can schedule daily or weekly or monthly. Let's see here, weekly or monthly. And you can rest assured that whoever enters this smart list, because it's dynamic, that data will be ported over to the new platform, to the alternate platform via the webhook. All right, and also just wanted to make a reminder about the BD HELPBOT in case you haven't noticed it, this little light bulb here in the corner. Super helpful. It's still learning and it's getting better every day. But you can ask it setup questions, where do I edit questions, things like that. I've seen its reliability is about like 70% right now. We're working on some of the fuzzy answers, but it's also excellent in helping you create content. I saw someone ask, like, what is the tallest building in the world? So it's not going to answer trivia questions. It's going to refuse that. But let me give you a tip. You can tell it, I'm writing an article on the tallest building in the world. Can you give me some ideas? When you tell it that you need content, it will freely respond back to you with either full articles, outlines, topic ideas, email content, SEO content for meta descriptions and things like that, social shares, etc., etc. So we can see here, just asking it a trivia question, it's going to kind of refuse the answer. But if we can pose it as we need help with our BD site, where we need content or an article, it's going to answer. So just a pro tip for you there, and this should help you work a lot quicker in your admin area. Okay, this next one is related to retention. So we've all seen that unsubscribe link at the bottom of the BD emails that go out. And the page that it links people to up until now has been a system hard-coded page. You couldn't edit it, add some fluffy text, maybe sway them away from unsubscribing, give them another option from your marketing emails, that is. But now you can. The unsubscribe page is a static page, and you can edit it just like any other static web page in your web page builder. Let me show you where you can enable that. On new sites moving forward, it'll be already in the web page builder section. However, even on this demo site, let's see here, you want to go to install new updates. This is good to check from time to time. Also, it's not used too often, but you'll see this one, email unsubscribe page installer, and this will install the page on your site. It'll turn it from a hard-coded system page to a live page in your web page builder. So if we go to the web page builder now, we should, and let me search for unsubscribe. There it is, unsubscribe page. Let's check it out. So here is the unsubscribe page it took us to, and we can now edit it just like the web page builder. So we can say, don't leave, stay with us, or whatever. Let me just quickly save that, and we should see a title on the page now. So we have that now. You can decorate it. Some people put crying cats or images that are kind of cheeky and playful to sway people from unsubscribing. And again, this would be unsubscribing from the marketing emails that you send from the newsletter of your site. Transactional emails like billing and things like that, they would probably still get those through the BD system, because those are transactional emails. It's a different classification of email. All right, and also we did mention this in the previous webinar. Just wanted to remind you, now in the web page builder, you can hide cells and tables, table cells on mobile, tablet, and or desktop, just giving you a bit more control over what shows on mobile versus desktop and tablet. Let me quickly show you that here. We have a web page open. I'm just gonna create a table here with 3 cells, put some text in here. So the option here, the bottom one with the star, table style, you have options: hide on mobile, hide on tablet, hide on desktop. So if you want to create a table that is just designed for desktop view, then you can hide this on mobile and hide it on tablet. You can choose multiple of them, or you can even choose hide on desktop as well. And then you can create an alternate table or cell that only loads on mobile or tablet. So just a little bit more design control over how things look on different devices. And coming up, we have a big one for you guys I'm going to announce. So if you've stuck with us so far, thank you. You're going to be excited about this. First of all, the ability to optimize file names and alt tags of the post images and photo album images your members upload. Right now, it creates a system file name. Some people want a little bit more granular control to modify those to really edge things for Google Images. More so now, Google Images does reference the context around an image to know what that image is, or the alt tag, which usually matches the post title. However, you will soon have that ability to also edit the file names of those images. And this next one here, we are giving access. We found a way to integrate with a stock photo site integration directly and provide it directly in the BD admin area. We should see a release by the end of next week, so we'll have this live, and it will be available to all BD users in the admin area. Let me show you an example of what this will look like. So first, we're adding it to the media manager, and then we'll be adding it into the text editor. So while you're creating in pages and stuff, you'll be able to access these stock photos. In the media manager, let me take a breath for myself. We'll go to photos by pixels. This is not released yet, it's coming soon, and it'll be available to everyone in the admin. So if you want a picture of like an island, you can search and you'll have access to all these beautiful images. You can even select the orientation. So if you have a hero image, you can do horizontal and search photos and add or download any of these images to your media manager. So when you find an image you like, there are 3 sizes you can choose: small, medium, or large. Large would be good for hero images. Medium would be good for like featured, larger images on blog posts, and small would be like thumbnails, 350 pixels. So you can choose the desired image. Let me show you how this is helpful in the design settings just quickly. So let's take a look at the homepage of this site real quick. So we have a background picture of this gentleman here. We have the homepage hero section. Let's quickly add some stock photos. And this is going to be huge because a lot of people don't know where to get stock photos. These are royalty free. You can use these photos on your site freely. So let's change the background image here. We'll replace it. You should be able to develop your site and landing pages a lot quicker with really beautiful and aesthetically pleasing photographs. So let's say our site is about cooking. So let's search for spices and we'll do a horizontal. And this one looks good. We'll use a large size. We'll download it. So it's saving it to our media manager. And if we go back, it's now available here to select as the background image. Now we have the homepage hero divider. Let's edit this. And right now it's using icons. We can see here, 1, 2, 3. Let's replace those with images. And let's say our site is about, I don't know, visiting Palm Springs. So let's type Palm Springs and let's use Square. Square will ensure that all the images are exactly the same dimensions. So let's just, we can use a small one here. Let's download that one. Let's do more Palm Springs vibes here. And right here, I guess that's not Palm Springs, but this is. Perfect. So we've downloaded 3 images to our media manager. And let's assign one to the first slot, and then image 2, we'll do the second one, and image 3, we'll do the third one. And let's save the changes. Perfect. Now let's refresh the home page. Awesome. So we have our spices background, really high quality, really beautiful pictures. Again, it's going to allow you to, change up your site a lot quicker, less hunting on the internet on where to go, or paying for images, or being uncertain if you can use certain images. And here we have our 3 other images. So, very quickly you can totally change the aesthetic look and feel of your site now that you will have access to these amazing stock images. I'm super excited about it. We're going to make it available to everyone in the admin, and then we're going to explore if we can use it on the front end of sites as well. So if you're writing a blog article or creating a post, how you can implement this there so you can just quickly get images into your live content as well, such as posts. In addition to that, the last one here, digital products, and I know this was a mouthful, but these are really great updates for you guys. The digital products, when a customer purchases a digital product from your site right now, after the purchase, they can't really get back to their confirmation email or the success page after their purchase, which probably has the useful links and information related to that digital product or service and what they should do next, or links to the specialized pages that they now have access to on your site. This is a little crude, this mock-up, but in their payment history, they will be able to, when it's a digital product, view the confirmation email again, view the confirmation page, the success page, or more easily go to that products page if it's still published on your site, potentially for a repeat purchase if they want to repeat purchase the product, or if they just want to revisit what that product was about in the first place. So that's coming soon as well. In addition to that, guys, it's going to be a really big end of the year for us. We have a lot of big updates, quality of life features, new releases like the stock photo coming through. Just going to make things a lot better for you guys. And big shout out to you guys, because most of these updates, as we always say, are from the support tickets you create, suggestions in the Facebook group, and more. And I kind of feel bad, David, because this was a lot of lab updates, and we have a big tip of the week as well. I think we'll skip the questions for this because we have a lot to cover in the tip of the week, and I think we need all the time that we have. So we'll keep things moving. And David, I'll pass it over to you, and we can move on to this week's tip of the week. Using ChatGPT and AI automation to basically effectively create content for you on your website.
Yeah, we've talked about member spotlight articles in several previous tips of the week, going into detail about what they should include and how you can go about providing them to your members, potentially selling them to your members. But up until now, it's really always been a manual process or a process that you would have to outsource to a copywriter or a freelancer, something like that. So with this tip of the week, we'll show you how you can create these member spotlight articles automatically for your members, and then really the only manual effort that would need to be put in on your part would be just reviewing the output from ChatGPT, make sure everything looks accurate and looks aesthetically pleasing on the front end of the site. But otherwise, it's all taken care of automatically. So this should be a pretty exciting, at the very least, somewhat interesting tip of the week to follow along with. And it's pretty easy to set up as well. Once it's set up, it's kind of set it and forget it.
And also about this, if you can grasp the concept of what we're covering here, it's going to just help with how you create web content altogether. Whether it's your brilliant directory site or another website property you have, this is going to be super helpful for you to just understand and how we're doing this, and that know that you can do this too.
So before we get into the steps for setting up the workflow automation, just quickly go over the benefits of Spotlight articles and what they are in case you aren't familiar with Spotlight articles. So it's basically just an article on your website that highlights a specific member within your directory or your community. So doing this, it can increase the online visibility and search engine ranking, not just for your members, because the more content they have about them indexed within Google, Bing, other search engines, the better. But it would also be a benefit for your website as well. If you have some prominent members within your community on your website and somebody's on Google searching for that specific member, your article on your website about them can also show up in those search results. This can also help to attract new customers and generate more revenue for your members, assuming they're individual professionals or businesses. It also enhances their brand image and their reputation, having this additional content written about them on a website other than their own. And it also provides valuable content in that they can share this additional content on your website, on their own social media channels, or also link to it on their website. It also helps them stand out from their competition. Again, if it's individual professionals or businesses that you have listed on your website, or if you have an association website, a member community for a group or something like that, you can also utilize these spotlight articles to recognize achievements of your individual members. So there's a lot of benefits that go along with these spotlight articles that feature and highlight individual members within your community. You can provide these for free. You can provide them as part of a paid premium membership plan that you're offering. You could also, charge your members an additional fee if they want to have a spotlight article written about them. So there are some ways to monetize this as well.
And also we're talking about spotlight articles, but really what we're going to show you today, and we see this a lot in the Facebook group. Somebody uploads, 5,000 business listings to their site. They're claimable listings now, but those pages aren't getting indexed because basically it's not meaningful content. It's what Google considers thin or duplicate content. It's the business name, their phone number, and their address. What we're going to show you today is one method where you can effectively add unique content to those thin pages and help more pages of your site rank in Google search results.
One last thing before we get into kind of showing how this works and how to set it up. Like I mentioned, we have talked about spotlight articles in some previous tips of the week. This was one in particular where we went into quite a bit of detail in what should be included within your spotlight articles and also how you can go about selling them to your members and using it as an additional revenue stream. Now we can go ahead and see a quick demo, see how this works in practice before we show the actual automation workflow and how to set it up.
Yeah, we're going to show you how it works first. I'm going to show you the slides that are upcoming just to let you guys know this is more intermediate advanced. We've heard a lot in the Facebook group. Some people want to go down the rabbit hole and figure out how to do this for their sites. Just a sneak peek. We're going to get to this afterwards, but these are some of the steps which we'll cover. But let's quickly see how this works. I think, David, the best way to do it may be to just sign up as a member to our demo site and see what we're talking about here.
I think so. Let's do that. And also, one quick note. Some people have brought up in recent weeks that Google wasn't necessarily, or in some cases, penalizing content generated by AI. They've recently kind of reversed that and updated their helpful content information. So content generated by AI, it's viewed the same as if it was written by a human, just as long as it's accurate and useful information. That's really all Google cares about.
Absolutely. And also, it could just not be a Google play. You're just, for visitors of your site or the content you're creating that make your members feel special, in this example, spotlight articles, there's inherent benefits of that as well to the actual user experience of visitors coming to your site and actually seeing content rather than really landing on thin pages, regardless if Google's going to still choose to rank those pages or not. And also, David, I've read, yeah, Google definitely values AI content. They just want it to be meaningful content that somebody is receiving. So that's based on the types of inputs you give it and the outputs that it's going to provide to you and how you can integrate that into your website. A human touch at the end really goes a long way. So let's sign up as a free member to this site. And David, you shout out the name of the business and the name and everything. Let me just quickly make an email address here to sign up to this site. All right, we're signing up as a local business listing on this site. And I'm a lazy local business listing. I'm only gonna put the bare bones information. I just wanna see my name on a website like this. So let's go ahead and add the basic information. And David, you just shout it out and I'll go ahead and type it in here, what things are gonna be.
Let's do home remodel, and first name can be Bill, last name, how about we do Smith? Any phone number would be fine. Company name, since this is a home remodel, how about we do Bill's Home Remodeling?
Okay, and the position?
I think Bill is the founder.
Founder, okay, founder and owner, we'll say. All right, let me just write a quick short description. And let's do 123 Main Street, and we'll do Detroit. Okay, we'll do Detroit, Texas. There we go. And so on. We'll stop right there. And we're seeing this here. We'll talk about this in a second. I am in admin view, that's why we're seeing this, but let me save the changes. And if I go back and remove this sidebar here, that was a hidden field. We do not see that hidden field anymore. Member will not see that. So the member just saved their information. And what's happening right now is this information was sent into Zapier, and the data is going in there. It's checking to see if an article was previously written about this member using just this information. You could also do the same on the additional details tab or just make one longer form in general. And what it's gonna do, it's gonna use the data points that Bill Smith entered in here, very basic information, and we've asked it to utilize ChatGPT to strum up an article using this information and then repost it on our website. So if we go to latest news now, we now have an article called Spotlight Article, Bill's Home Remodeling from Detroit, Texas. If we click on it, we now have an article with subheadings about Bill's home remodeling, et cetera, that ChatGPT used. And even at the end, we've included calls to action that link to their website homepage. And so we can ask it to do other things as well, link back to the profile and things like that. And we've set these to publish automatically. Of course, if you're doing this, you may want to set these articles to draft mode and then have human intervention, add images, links in the articles, modify them a bit, change it up a bit. You spend 10 or 15 minutes making it your own, dressing it up. And then of course, you can send the good news to the member on that they've been featured on your site, share it on social media, et cetera, et cetera. So David, where should we go from here? Because I want to do this the right way. Should we get into the steps now on how we accomplish this?
Yeah, let's do it. And the first step would be customizing the member contact details form in the BD admin.
Okay, perfect. So let's go to the admin area. And the first thing we're going to do, we saw that hidden field that I added, the spotlight article. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Toolbox Form Manager. And you can do this on the contact details or, as I mentioned, the additional details form. So if we go to contact. This is the form that I customized in this case, listing contact details. It was a default form and we customized it for the site. And we only did one thing to this form. We went all the way to the bottom and we clicked add a new field under the submit button, and we just created a single line text field. The key here is when you click this cog, we want it to be an admin only field, meaning the member will never see this field when they're logged into the front end of your site. Only when you, the admin, visit the site using this orange button or logging in as the member from the admin area where we have that black sidebar on the left, only you will see this field. But this will hide this field. We called it Spotlight Article. You can call it whatever you want. We're going to save a value of 1 to this after ChatGPT writes an article the first time, so we know not to write an article multiple times about the same business or member. So step 1 here was to customize that listing contact details member field, add 1 field at the bottom. We called it Spotlight Article, and make it admin only. Perfect. The next thing we did, and this will work with Pabbly, Zapier, or Integrately. Those are kind of the 3 big integration platforms, which really just make things point and click. We're sending, when the member fills out that data of that form, we're sending it via a webhook. Basically, a webhook means when this form is filled out, send the data out of my website, and we're sending it to Zapier. So we're going to create a Zap, and we're going to do a webhook trigger. So this is what I created in Zapier. This is the order that we did it. We catch the webhook. We'll recreate this for you guys. Then we said only continue if the member has entered a few key pieces of information like their company, their name, their address. You can modify the if statement, only continue if. You can add more layers on there if you want, or you can keep it as light as you want. And also that value of 1 that we're saving in that Spotlight article, we're doing that at the very end here. I'll talk about that. It's not going to continue if we've already written an article about that member. The next thing we do is all the data that was in the webhook, we spin it in ChatGPT. We say, these are the data points, and we have the input you should give it. We'll share that with you guys. We say, ChatGPT, here are the data points. You're an SEO writer for a business directory site. Write an article about this business using only these data points and do not make any information up, etc., etc. After ChatGPT creates that article, we are creating a blog post on our Brilliant Directories website. And after we create the blog post, we are updating that user with a value of 1 that we've written a Spotlight article about them. So we're just saving that number 1. So later when it comes back to this step, if that member comes back and resaves this form over and over again, it's not going to create articles over and over again for that member. So creating the post based on ChatGPT's article output and then updating the user with the value of 1 so we don't recreate articles. Let's quickly recreate it from scratch, David. I'll keep this open on the side here. Let's duplicate this because I think if people can do this properly, it'll be a lot of high value. So we'll try to do it quickly. And remember, you can always watch the replay at your own speed. But let's create this from scratch, and we'll just kind of reference this, David. We'll go back and forth with this to keep us on the straight and narrow with that. So we're going to create a Zap, and they've recently modified their layout here. But what we're going to do is Webhook, and Webhooks by Zapier. And we see here on the left-hand side, the event will be catch a hook, basically catch the data coming in. We'll continue. We don't need a child key. We'll hit continue. And it gives us this URL. So we're going to copy this URL. And what we want to do is go to our developer hub, Webhooks, and search for, in this case, we're doing that contact details form that the member fills out. This one here, the member profile forms. This is my old URL. I'll delete that and I'll paste it with the new one from the Zap and save the changes.
And you also want to make sure enable webhook is set to on when you do this.
That's right. Also, actually very important step is you want to do this with a test member first, and you want to log in as the admin and save that value of 1. That custom field that we added to the form, the Spotlight article, in order for Zapier to know that that form field exists, we need to save it for 1 member first. So I'm just going to go ahead and log in as a member here. And this could be a sample member in this case. We'll go to basic information, and I'll scroll down again. This is that admin sidebar here. This is going to allow us to see the admin only fields here. So we have Spotlight article. We want to save a value here. So do it on a test member. That way, when we go to Zapier, this custom field is going to be available to select there. Let me just choose a couple of the things. I think that was an important step as well. Okay, so we did a webhook. We actually saved that field. So now we can test the trigger because we did technically save a member there. And here it is here. It was that test, Jason H. That's right. Let's go back and check it out here. Basic information. Yep, Jason H, JJ, phone number is 555. So it did capture that information, and we will continue here. So we're good. The webhook's working. The next action is going to be only continue if. So we're going to do a filter, only continue if, and we're going to do a few things. So that spotlight field, only continue if the spotlight field, choose condition, does not exist, meaning there's no value saved in it for that member. We haven't saved a one yet for it. So this member is okay to write an article about. So, and this is where we can only do it for members who have filled out, more comprehensive information. So we can say the first name, and we'll go to just the first name exists. Here, exists is at the bottom. And we can say company name exists. So company name exists, and so on and so forth. So we can say city name exists. So this way we're writing articles about members who have probably written or filled out the majority of those fields. And you can educate your members during the welcome email process to, if they want an article written about them, to complete all the fields that are there, or figure out a way to kind of share that information with them about how they can get qualified to have a spotlight article written about them. And this will encourage more people to complete their profiles rather than kind of halfway filling out their information. So again, you can continue down here and make as many fields as you want required from that contact information form. I'll just do one more here and do state. And we'll do state long name. Okay, so we'll stop it there. Okay, great. So let's see, your Zap would not have continued for this test if this was because I already had a Spotlight Article 1 because I manually set that, but just showing for this test. But now we can continue here. And the next thing we're gonna do is the conversation with ChatGPT. So let's type ChatGPT. Now you have to have a ChatGPT account, and not the one where you chat with it online. You want your OpenAI account. You go to ChatGPT, and we've already connected our account in Zapier with our API key, and we'll continue here. So choose an event, it's conversation. So we're gonna do conversation as the event, and we'll continue. We're connected to our account, we'll continue here. And the user message. So we actually have some things here. We'll share this prompt with you. So there's two things you need. The instructions over here, assistant instructions. We've written some instructions here. It says you are an SEO copywriter, etc. I will provide you with information about a specific person or business. You will create a spotlight article, etc., etc. And then we tell it some things like you will leverage the name, company name, location, all data points, and to create a 500-word SEO-friendly, diverse bio of the business in a positive light without inventing false statements about the business. We've also told it to include subheadings and titles, and also to use HTML tags such as paragraphs, H2 headings, H3 headings, ULs and LIs are bullet lists, and As are links. So this way it can create the article and it'll be styled up nicely in your blog. And then we say always start articles with 2 intro paragraphs because sometimes it wants to start with a heading and that doesn't look good in the article. So we're telling it to start with 2 paragraphs. And just a bit more about the structure. This article is for SEO, use the company's name and location generously, etc. So we're gonna paste this as the assistant instructions. Perfect. And then we have to give it our first input. So our first input is going to be the business information. So I'll show you quickly how to do an easy way to do that. Let me paste this in the chat as well. This is a big piece of text here. Okay, and we'll come back here. So the AI has its instructions. Then what we want to do is the user message. That's our first message when it's chatting with it. So we're going to say first business to write about. Let me see if I can just copy this here. first business to write about, and then it uses all the shortcode values from the webhook data points. I don't think my copy and paste works in this case because they're from another thing, but let me just share this with you guys and show you what you will do. And the more data points you could feed it in your initial response, the better, because it will have more data to write about. So let's just clear these out and quickly add them back in. So if we click on name, and if we scroll down here again, the UI in this new Zapier thing is not good, but let's just work around it. So name, we want to do the catch webhook. So first name, and we'll put a space, and we'll do last name. Perfect. Company name. Yeah, the other ones were yellow. See, these are white because it was each, you got to do it for your own site. So company, and this is going to be, this is what we're telling ChatGPT the first time, saying this is the first business to write about. The position, so again, we can just go through this exercise and map the data points of the first input. What I'm going to do is I'm going to delete all these because you need to do it for your own, but I am going to copy this here. And again, you can put this with a colon and then the data point value. So let's paste this over here. And that I just pasted in the chat is your user message, but make sure that you are adding the variables from the webhook. So first name again, I'm not going to go through all of them, but that is what you would. And that's all you have to do for ChatGPT. So we can just continue. If it lets us get out of this, let's see what it's asking us for. Continue. Perfect. So ChatGPT is done now. We've given it its AI instructions, and then we give it our first input, which is this is the business to write about. And it's going to be dynamic. Every time a business saves their information, that's the data that it's going to write about. And then the next thing we're going to do is create a post in the Brilliant Directories website. So we have another action. We're going to select Brilliant Directories, and this is always fun. Great shout out to the BD dev team for this integration you guys have created. So we're going to create posts, super easy. I'm going to continue. It's hooked up to our BD site. We're going to do our webinar demo site, and it will just connect in a second, and we'll continue. So now we're going to create a post based on the ChatGPT output. So here we go, create post, and we get a drop-down list of all our post types. So in this case, we're doing a blog article post. Now, also what you can do is if you create a field for the member, another hidden admin field, you could add this to the member's profile page. So if you've imported claimable listings, instead of creating this as blog posts, add this content to the member's profile page instead. You can update the user instead of creating a post. But here we go. So choose blog article type. You do need the post author. So in our case, you put the member ID on your site. I'll show you that in a second. If we go to our demo site here, and if we look for the admin blog contributor, that's who's going to be the author of these blog articles. And his member ID is 3. So we'll continue with that. That's why post author user ID is 3. Publish status, this is what we're referring to. You might want to set these to draft as first because you want that human touch added to them, adding images, more internal or external links, and maybe modifying some of the output text that ChatGPT has created. Or you can set it to publish. It just depends how comfortable you are with what the output is and what you're doing on your site. So in our example, we'll just set it as published. And the post title, we can create the title. So we've been doing Spotlight member, and you can create another ChatGPT to output a title for said article and then use that as the value. In this case, we'll do Spotlight member. We'll use our webhook. We'll do the company name and their location from, and we'll do the city, comma, the state. So that's going to be kind of a uniform title for these articles. Again, you can do another ChatGPT spin and then use that value for the article title, maybe make things a little more diverse. Okay, and then the post content is going to be our conversation, our ChatGPT output. Looks like I didn't complete that step. Let's go complete that step. We need to test the step. And what we're going to use, our user message was first business to write about, name, Jason, etc. If it's missing data, it's missing data. But let's see if it can write an output for this. And it's thinking. Okay, there we go. Looks like it's done. Let's see if it outputted an article. And it did. And the value of this ChatGPT, let me scroll up again. The UI in Zapier is horrible for this. I don't know why they recently did this, but here it is the content from it. So it starts here in a P tag. Jason is an exceptional individual, et cetera, et cetera. This is the article here. So let's continue and go back to our, we could skip the test now. I think we can go back to our creating post, and the post content will be the ChatGPT. And what we want is the reply. So look for reply. We can see the P tag it starts there. That is the article. So that's what the post content is going to be, is the reply from ChatGPT. And we're done. Unless you want to add more post featured images and things like that, you could ask post tags. If you want to create a comma separated list of the person's first name, last name, their location, things like that, you can obviously add tags to the post. But we'll keep it simple. We'll just continue. And we're going to do one more step. This is the important step so that we don't get multiple articles written on the same user. So we're going to do another action, which is Brilliant Directories. And this was the reason we added that Spotlight article form field and customized that form. So right now we're going to do an event. We're going to update the user. And we only care about one thing here, or two things. One is attributing it to the user's ID, and that's based on the webhook, the original webhook data. So we're going to go to custom in this case, the catch webhook, and we're going to search for user. User ID in this case was 193 created. Okay, just want it once. And the last thing we want, and the reason we had to save that once on a sample member is so we can see that Spotlight article field here. We want to set this to 1. So after it goes through this once, we're going to save a value of 1, and we know in this step here only continue if there's no value saved for this field. So we're not going to get multiple articles written about the same person. So we'll continue, and we can test this step, and we're done. I know we did a lot of explanation, and there was it's a little finicky here with that new UI that they have, but we are now ready to create articles as soon as members sign up to our site. Now, some things you can do, I'll go back here to the slides. These were the actions here. Again, I pretty much went step by step as much as I could. Hopefully most of it was clear. So just some bonus tips.
Yeah, so you'll most likely want to review the output that was generated by ChatGPT. Just make sure everything's accurate and that it includes all of the information and details that you want it to. A good thing to do with this is to set the default post status when you're setting up the workflow in Zapier. Set that to draft and not publish. So it'll still automatically create the article, and you can access it when you log in and view the article. It just won't be published, so it won't be live on your website immediately. You'll also probably want to include some additional details that might have been left out by ChatGPT. This ultimately depends on the information that it's provided with. So maybe you'll want to add some additional fields to the form that you're using. But when you go back and take a look at the article that ChatGPT generates, you might want to add some images or embed some videos about the member. If it's a professional individual or a business, you might want to grab a review from their profile on your site, or maybe a testimonial from their own website or another review site, and add that in to the article. Also add in some relevant calls to action. This will depend on the overall purpose of your website, but if it's a business directory, maybe you want to include some calls to action within the article itself, directing readers to leave a message or contact the specific member. And then also, depending on what information you're providing to ChatGPT in the article that it's creating, you might find some places where you can insert some internal or even external links into the article. You might also want to set a delay in the Zapier automation workflow so that the article isn't created immediately. If you're going to be automatically publishing these articles, by adding, maybe a 3, 4, 5 day delay between when the member completes that contact details form and when the article is actually published, that can make it seem like some actual human work went into crafting the article, and add some value to it that way. And then what you might also want to do is include an action to automatically notify your member, automatically send them an email letting them know that a Spotlight article has been published about them and include a link so that they can quickly access and view the article published on your site.
Yeah, I like the 3 points here, setting it to draft mode, giving it the human touch, and then emailing the member or having Zapier email the member, setting a delay in Zapier before it does all this. And then of course, now you have content for newsletters, social media, your site for Google, and it's really all done automatically for you as members join your site. And also, again, you don't have to save this as a blog post. You could resave it as an updated field in the member's profile, so this extra content shows up on their profile page. And also, in addition to this, it doesn't have to be for all your members. This can be a boost or an upsell that you sell to premium members, and you just need to tell them how to do it. If they've already filled out the information and they were a free member, have them upgrade to be a premium member and just hit that save button again on their contact details form, and the article would get created on their behalf. I know it was a little technical. We went down the rabbit hole a bit. Hopefully it wasn't too complicated. It was within the realm of what majority of us can or need to do it. But it is technically repurposing data that's being inputted into your BD website, bare bones data, might I say, having ChatGPT zhuzh it up and kind of make it into a conceptual article and then reposting it to your BD website. With that said, I know that was a mouthful and a lot that we covered here. What we can do now is open it up to Q&A. We can cover the tip of the week, some of the lab updates, or any questions you have about your BD website. So feel free to raise your hand. We have time for a good number of Q&As here. We got our good friend Brian here. Brian, how you doing?
Pretty good, and you?
Pretty good.
I just had a quick question. I don't know if it's possible for you guys to do an update on this or whatever, but you know the events calendar page?
Yes.
So like when you're on the events calendar, it shows like a bunch of events and everything. But it'd be nice if there was a widget that you could do in the sidebar that would, like, you know how you can do it by keyword or like location or something like that. So like if you have like, say, a nationwide website.
It's a good suggestion.
Do you know where I'm going with this?
Yeah, basically filtering the category based on either a keyword filtering the calendar based on a category or keyword potentially.
Yeah, and actually location would be good too, because like say you have events like in California, Nevada, Houston, Texas, et cetera, you may want to only go to an event in a certain area, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, we can. I think it may be possible. We have a better handle on that events calendar integration. So definitely we'll share it with the team.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good suggestion there for Brian. Brian, always good suggestions. I got to say, my man. Thank you so much. Okay, we got our good friend Wilf here. How you doing, Wilf?
Hey, I'm great. Thank you, Jason. Yeah, you guys are doing an outstanding job. So much value here. My question, it might be very remedial for this call, but I'm working on a site. I'm going full bore, and I'm really kind of having trouble with, let's say, my featured member or my premium member. So it's a local business, and I would like their profile to look top notch. So is this something we could go through to get my settings in order?
I have a couple point and click settings that can kind of make that profile maybe look a little different than the other profiles in some cases, or maybe just make your profiles look a little more standout. I can show you some of those settings.
Okay, that would be great.
Okay, great. Let's we could just stick on this demo site here. Let me just go to search members. Let me find a member. We'll go to their profile page, and let's go someone who's got like at least a profile photo. Let me just search here. And how many members? Not a lot on this site. Let me find someone in the admin here. Let me go to the last member, and we have somebody here I can use. Just give me one more moment. I have that sample. I think her name's Lisa. This is just the demo site here. Here it is. So let's look at this profile page. We'll do a little before and after. So this is kind of what we're used to here. Profile here, a sidebar here. Let's go to the design settings and let's just see a couple things we can do differently. And also let's look at the membership plan here. So in the design settings under member profile pages, One thing you can do, which I think is good, the profile header, I'd like to do full width. I'll just show you why. It kind of showcases the member a bit more at the top there, so you get that full width look. And then I would recommend maybe the profile cover at the top there. Are you familiar with that?
No.
Okay, let me see if this site has the cover photo. Yeah, the profile cover photo, it's an add-on, but I'll show you what it allows your members to do. Let me go to the Brilliant Directories site. I'll share that link with you. If you have the VIP add-ons club, you have it already. So let me just share this profile cover, and we'll add a cover photo for this person. I put it in the chat there. So Lisa Jones, okay, what does this person do? Let's say this person is an architect. So let's actually get an image, and let's log in as this member also. So they should be able to add now a cover photo right here, cover photo. So let me find, a photo of a house or something, modern home architect. And we'll just grab an image real quick for this example. Here, this is fine. And of course, it could have their company name on it too. It doesn't have to just be just a photo by itself. Okay, and let's upload a cover photo. Should have that there. I'll show you two more things that you can do as well after this. So we'll just confirm this one. Okay, great. Let's refresh the page a bit. So you can modify it so it's not so tall. It forces it to be a little more skinnier and narrow. But kind of now that they've put this is a little too tall to be honest, but they've put a cover image here. And then one more thing you can do, if these are premium members, and I've seen this a lot, and let me clear this. What you can do on their profile pages is actually hide the header of the website. I don't know if that's something you want to do, but just so you know, it's an option. You can hide the website header and the website footer, which effectively makes kind of like, this was not a good image to choose, it was too tall, but which effectively makes it like their own web page for themselves. And I've seen a lot of websites that do this, educate the client on how to mirror this URL on their own if they don't have a website, and their profile page becomes their website effectively.
So a question about that. So a visitor or a user navigating the website, seeing this profile, not knowing the business, trying to evaluate if they would want to reach out to the business. What are your thoughts? What are the pros and cons to eliminating the header and the footer? So I get it from the advertiser perspective. That's very valuable. Just your thought on from a user perspective, because they lose their navigation now.
So you can keep the breadcrumb up here, and what you may want to do in that case, because they're gonna find this member based on the search results. So what you may want to do is update this so every time the view listing is clicked on, it maybe opens in a new tab. So that way they kind of still have the search results page open, but every time they click on a profile, it's going to be its standalone page.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good idea.
Okay. I wish I chose a better image. This wasn't good for the example, but you kind of get the idea here. And again, these are very like boilerplate profile pages. I know Ryan Sullivan, he's in the webinar. He's one of the marketplace partners. He's done an amazing job with some, if you need to do further customization on profile pages.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And guys, Wolf's been with BD for a very long time, so it's really nice and refreshing to see you back here in the webinars, Wolf. Good chatting with you. All right, we can see Dave here. Dave's got his hand up. Let me unmute your mic, Dave. Make sure you're unmuted as well on your end, Dave. Hi, where are you calling in from?
San Diego, California.
All right, we're here in Los Angeles. What's your question for us today?
Just up the road. All right. Events along the lines of what the other gentleman was asking about. I didn't realize that wasn't something that was already innately there. So be good to see that happen when it happens in terms of the ability to filter out by location. Over and above that, in terms of setting up a couple things here. First off, bringing in or scraping data to create event pages. I've brought this up with you guys a couple times in terms of just scraping data and bringing it in, and that creates a blog profile. Is that right?
Yes, so if you're scraping data, you're probably saving it to like a Google Sheet or an Excel or CSV file, correct?
Right.
So what you can do is you can use Zapier if you want to automate it. If I'm not too familiar with coding with the API directly, that's why tools like Zapier or Pabbly are helpful.
Yeah.
you can, do you want me to quickly show you what you would do?
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be awesome.
Okay, yeah, let me just quickly show you the gist of it. So what you would do, let's go back to Zapier, and let's see, we have some tests here, so we can do it here. Let me edit one of these, and let me zoom in here. So what you'll do basically is you can use, so you're adding, you can do it a one time, or you can, if you're scraping and you're constantly adding scrapes to a Google Sheet, if you're going to do it, like dynamically do it. Otherwise, you can just import directly into your site. I'll show you that as well. I kind of skipped that step, but if you're going to be doing it dynamically and adding new scraped records to a Google Sheet, which would be like the continuous way to do it. So every time there's a new spreadsheet row, what you can do is you add a step, and we'll do brilliant directories, kind of like how we created the blog article in today's tip of the week.
Sure.
We're going to create a post. Let me see here. Create a post, and when this pops up, you're going to connect your site, of course.
Right.
Okay. Then it's going to say choose post type. So what we're going to want to select is the events post type. And then from here, we're just going to map the information, the category, the tags. I think it goes, if you scroll down further.
Okay, so that's good to know. I didn't realize there's a specific event post type. And so by doing this, I can actually use this to create the event post. That's great.
Let me help you out with one more thing. If you go to manage posts, by the way, lab update, you're going to be able to export your posts soon. Right now, you can import posts. You'll be able to export your posts soon as well in a CSV format.
Cool.
And it'll be in a format where if you export it, you can directly import it right back to your site. So you can import posts. Let me click on this. So if you just have the CSV file or the Excel file, let me share this view import guide for you. And I'll put this in the chat, how to import posts via CSV. So an event is a post. So this kind of talks about that right here, events.
Okay.
So let me share this with you as well. And I think there's a sample import template file. So if you're scraping your event data, you just have to map like post title, post content, et cetera, et cetera. If you scroll down here, yeah, at the bottom of this article are some sample import templates, so you can utilize those to map.
We ran into an issue with that, by the way. Jason, is this Jason talking?
Yes.
Okay, we ran into an issue with that where we found out that some of the fields, for whatever reason, in the example up above aren't showing up in the template down below. So is that something we need to figure out for ourselves or what?
If it's a valid form field in your events form, you can use it as a column heading in your import file. So sometimes people have custom fields, but if you're saying there's some like missing default fields, we can add them to these template files. But let me show you.
Like I said, we went to go try and do that, and it was like, wait a minute, your templates were missing certain fields that looks like they were supposed to be, like you said, default fields. So we were just curious about that.
Let me guide you on that. So if you come to, this is also good information. If you come to your form manager, search for your events form, you can edit it. And basically, effectively, these are all the fields that correspond to an event post, like
so
post title.
Got it. Okay.
Right, exactly. So like post expiration date, post, like there's just a bunch of fields here. So these are all your fields for events here.
Okay. That's for event related posts, basically. Got it.
Right. If you come to the form manager and look at the feature events form, the fields here, the database variables are what you want at the top of your column headings.
Those are our column names, basically. Got it.
Yes, precisely.
Okay. And then in terms of event listings, is the event like template the best option for us, for those that are trying to run event directories?
I mean, you're going to be posting events that have start dates and end times, right?
Yeah, these are all different events in different places, in different cities and whatnot that want to, be able to have the start date and maybe a registration link and whatever else, on their field, on that information within their particular post. In this case, I'm basically
that's the best post type to use in that case. Yes.
Okay, and then the overall template for the website build that we're using, the event one is probably the best option for that right now. Is that correct?
So you're referring to the themes? Actually,
there we go. Themes, sorry.
So really the themes are just like a starter for the home page, effectively.
Correct.
So, I mean, it's not hard to just put the event search as the call to action in the hero section of the homepage and then stream event categories and such. So even if you started with the standard template, it's just a few clicks to kind of make it like a event focused on the homepage. So it's just really however comfortable you are with the design settings, because very quickly you can shift the focus of the homepage from like a classifieds to an event search website.
I follow you. Okay. All right, that's good to know. But oh, and can you finish showing the? I know it's. I'm sorry, I'm taking up too much time, but can you finish showing how the Zapier method works also for the automation?
Yeah. So basically, you have a Google sheet, and then every time there's a new row, we want to create the post in Brilliant Directories. So you would basically create an event post, and you just map out your information here. These are like your column headings. Yeah, exactly.
Right, and then once the Zap is ready, then it will literally, every time there's a new addition, it'll fire off and go create that post automatically.
Exactly. So, and then again, if you can set the post status to published or draft. So if you feel you need like human intervention or moderation, you can have them added to your site into draft mode, and then you and your team can kind of like just inspect them to make sure that before they're set to published. But if you're comfortable with it and the integrity of what's being added to the spreadsheet is good, you can, if you're comfortable, you can set it to publish automatically.
That's amazing. All right, guys, thank you again for everything you're doing. It's amazing.
Hey, appreciate you. Yeah, excited. Join us in another webinar. Show us what you've done with that. Excited to see it. All right, we got Jim here. Jim, thank you for your patience there. Let me unmute your microphone. How you doing, Jim?
Good, thank you. Now, I want to third everybody else's thing. I'm also putting together an events-centric site.
Okay.
And so anything we can do with events, the better.
Okay.
Mike, just a quick question. You mentioned in the first part of the section about syncing smart lists. I'm assuming that when you when the sync actually happens on a daily basis or whatever, that it's only syncing new entries from the previous since the previous time I synced?
No, it will sync the entire list all over again. So, you know, if you're syncing with like MailChimp and you're adding those people into MailChimp, even if there's duplicates, MailChimp won't add the duplicates, it'll just add new people, even though it's sending all the data, but it's sending all the data each time.
Okay, I was thinking it was for some personal endpoints that I'm going to be setting up, so that's good to know. All right, that was my only question.
Okay. Oh, that's actually a great use case for it. Yeah. So if you're going to be updating pieces of data, it'll fill in the missing blanks. Is that kind of what you're doing?
Kind of, yeah. If they add more stuff in, or if I just get a new entry, you know, I just need to put the new person in to another database that I'm working on. So
that's a great. You know, I didn't even think about that use case. That's actually probably the most useful use case for that syncing. Okay. Anything else, Jim?
No, just to say that the stuff you guys posted about the creating the articles, that's just gold. That's gold.
I know, it's fun.
Definitely look into that.
All right. Well, if you have questions, feel free to ask in the Facebook group. We'll be monitoring that.
All right. Thanks, Jason.
You're welcome. Good stuff there from Jim. Let's see who else got their hands up here. Teresa, I'm going to call on you, Teresa. Hey, how are you today?
I'm well, Jason. Thank you so much. So on my website, there are some banner ads location, but I don't know where they go. Can you help me figure that out?
Sure. What's your website? Let's take a look.
Notarytoday.pro.
Okay, notarytoday.com. Great name, by the way.
No, .pro.
.pro. Okay. Okay, let's take a look at the front of your site real quick. And
that I started like spotlighting the notaries, but I started to do it manually, and you went through it. I joined late where we can have it done automatically. I have to look at that and see how I can automate that.
First of all, I love your colors, nice and bright. But let's talk about the Google ads here. So what is your question is, why are the ads showing, or how are you controlling it? How do you control it?
Well, like today, I just got an ad buy. You see that ad right there?
Yes.
That's an ad buy that I just added onto the site today. But if you go to my banner ad section.
Okay.
Right, okay, so the side banner, that one.
Okay.
How do I make that interchangeable? Interchangeable as more like if I can add like multiple ads frequency, so it flashes like maybe when you change page or.
Sure. So you can actually do a couple things. Let's take a look at it. Let me backtrack. So you can do a few things. Rotating banner ad, brilliant directories. Okay. So you could add a rotating banner ad. We have steps here on what to do. Actually pretty good step by step on what to do. And if we scroll down, there's like it tells you what to do here, and you just have to choose the link and the image that you want the intervals to change. It's coded here step by step. Let me share this link. However, this might be a little too cumbersome. Let me.
For me.
Yeah. I agree. So that would be a rotating banner ad. So like every 10 seconds it would slide or whatever the interval is to the next banner. But what you're saying is you would want, on every page load, a different banner shows.
Not
right?
necessarily, but it to be interchangeable.
So maybe if you want to show a different sidebar on different pages, let me share this other article with you.
Oh, okay. I didn't know we could do that. We have that.
So like a lot of people, they have their sidebar banners, but then they'll let's say California lawyers. There's a search results page for California lawyers. They have a whole different sidebar for there, and they're selling ad spots to lawyers in California who want to be featured in the sidebar.
Gotcha.
So let me share this. This is actually more easier to do. Here, add custom content banners, SEO to specific search results pages. So this is more in line in what you're looking to do. Let me share this, and these steps are much easier. Here, I put it in everything I'm doing, I'm putting in the chat for you. And then what I always like to do is, I always like to ask ChatGPT. So I'll take this is your ad code with your link and your product, and let's just go to ChatGPT and start a new chat here. Okay, and say, I am showing a banner ad in my sidebar. Here is the basic code, but I want to show a different ad on every page load, up to 4 different ads. Give me the code for that.
Wow.
Let's see what it gives us. And then you can put this into the ad spot, because the ad spot supports putting custom embed code. So it kind of tells you what to do here, and then you just change the URL and probably the corresponding image. Yeah, here's the image and thing, and it'll do it. So this looks more complicated, but really I like to ask ChatGPT for some of these things, and most of the time it's pretty simple, but sometimes you'll need a helping hand. Like this looks a little scary and complicated. I kind of know what to do with it, but
can you send me that, Jason?
Sure. Let me tell it to do this. Use PHP instead. Let's just have fun with it instead of JavaScript. Let's see if it can. Certainly, using PHP is straightforward. So this would be maybe even easier. This is your ad. This is actually even easier. Let's see what it gives us in a second. I think I told it 4 units. Generate a random index. Perfect. And then here you go. This is actually easier for you. And then all you do is you change the URL, and let's see, in this code, PHP will handle the random selection of the ad. Each time the page is loaded or refreshed, a different ad will be chosen from the ad list. And here's your ad and your image target here. But yeah, there's a few ways. The video that I shared with you, or you can put this in a widget and render the widget. So what you can do is actually, I'll show you. Let me do it with you real quick. I'll go to your widget manager. I'll just do it with you. I'll save it as a widget on your site. Let me create a new widget, and I'm going to call it random sidebar banner ads, and we'll paste the code here.
Okay.
And save the changes. And what we can do is we can copy the short code. Okay, we'll go back to your design settings. We have extra banner ad spots here. I see you're using all of them. You're not. So
I don't know where to find them though, Jason. I don't know where
I'll show you right now. Okay. So let's say extra banner ad 5. This is the widget. So we're going to use custom embed code, and part of your custom embed code could simply be putting that widget we created here. So random sidebar banner ads. Okay. And this is the widget. So what we can do is go here, and we have that there, widgets and widgets. Let's save the changes. And let's see what sidebar this is. We'll do, and I'm going a little quickly, but just to show you guys what's possible here. So this sidebar is the member search results sidebar. So let's edit that. I'll go to Actions, Customize. That brought us to the sidebar manager, clicking from the front end. And I'm gonna search for that Bootstrap theme banner responsive 5. Where did I see that? The extra banner ad 5, that's the widget name. So we wanna put this widget into the sidebar. So here it is here. I'm going to put it just at the top here tentatively. Obviously, we haven't created URLs and images for it, but let's save the changes.
Okay.
And let's refresh the page. So here's the spot here. There are no valid images, but let me just copy this image link. Let's put it in. This is fun for me, by the way. So
I
it's
can
no
see
problem.
that.
Yeah, that's no problem. So you know, this is the URL of where it's going to go. And then this is the image here. So you want to put, just make sure, be careful between the quotation marks and things like that. I'm just going to use the same image for all of them.
Yeah,
And then
fine.
this would be where the link goes. So maybe it's going to a customer site or another page on your website. I'll go ahead and save it. Now we have some valid images here. So we're going to see this image twice because that's the one that I used. But now we see,
That is awesome. Oh.
You see, so let's just put another image that you have in your design settings. This one here, Legal Shield. I'll just copy that image link. I'm just going to put it for half the other images, just so we know we can see some variation. And we'll save the changes. Now, if we refresh this page here, okay, right now it's random. So let's see if it gets the other image that we just saved. Well, it looks like it didn't get one of the images.
Different size.
Yeah, you want to have the similar size. Let's see. We're only using 2. It's 50-50 if it's going to get the other image. There it is, Legal Shield. So again, if you have 4, it's going to randomly pick one to kind of every time on the page reload. So here you have your code here. Again, just be careful inside the quotation marks. Maybe save a backup of the working code, and if you screw it up, you can always just put the original code back in. So maybe save this in an alternate widget. You can clone this widget and use one as your backup that you know always works, and then make changes on a custom one, another custom one. But Teresa, that's kind of how to do it. I wish it was more point and click, but you can get it done with this.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
All right, good question there. And I think on that note, guys, we'll end the webinar there. Thanks for those of you who stuck around with us. Glad we got to a few Q&As there. David, thank you so much for putting these slides together, using ChatGPT to basically fill in empty, thin pages of a site with really rich and useful content using your own members' data. Amazing lab updates, more to come. The next webinar will be in 2 weeks. We invite you to join the Facebook group. We'll post a replay of this webinar there in just a few moments. So you can go to brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook. And for those of you that joined us in YouTube, we appreciate you very much. On behalf of myself, David, and the entire Brilliant Directories family, it's always great to be with you here. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Have a great day and a brilliant week. Much love. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.